everyone. Quantic, it's great to see you again. Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Trav. We've got Quantic. Together, we are Web3 Matters here. And yeah, you guys might be watching right now and asking yourself, there's something different today, but I can't quite put a finger on it. I wonder what that might be. Well, let me illuminate here for you guys. So, heavy heart, but Kobe has decided to leave Web3 Matters. I will start off by saying that he mentioned that he needs to prioritize family for the time being, which we completely respect. We're not going to go further into any kind of details in regards to why he's leaving at the moment. It's going to be we're going to leave it up to Kobe to share on his end, but know that everything was mutual, everything was respectful, and in terms of plans moving forward, I'm going to leave that to Quantic. But nothing but good things here. So Quantic, I'm just going to spread the mic or spread. That's not the right word, hand over the mic to you. First of all, those colors are mesmerizing.
Yes, sir. How are you doing, Trav? I know it's been an intense week internally, right? What I'm going to say though is like whenever there are news that could take me back in the sense of, progress, right? Like taking a step back. I like to take a few minutes, perhaps a few hours, it's like very serious to analyze the situation, think about it, reflect on it, see what can be done to improve. But then immediately I enter into this mode of like, let's move forward. And throughout history, this has been an amazing advantage for me in my life, personal, professional, and financial life as well. Sometimes you have to, move forward and just push with everything, including that. And I'm excited about our next steps with Web3 Matters. So the first thing that I want to clarify is that there is absolutely no change in regards to our trajectory, right? We continue to ship, we continue to build this amazing community. We have enough vibe coders and resources and things to show you each week. So know that nothing changed from any point of view, actually, other than, we're back to the roots in the sense that it's only you and I, Trav. And it feels special, right? Being together after all of this time, hosting Web3 Matters with exactly the same vision and exactly the same people that started behind the scenes. We also have a dear collaborator, Kasha, that always is supporting and is the same people as always. So I don't know, Trav, where do you want to take the next step? Because we have to talk about the app idea. We have to talk about the use of these agentic tools, and how we're actually using this, because let's be honest here, Kobe was the expert on all of that. So that means that we lost our main source of expertise on the agentic world. However, we have discovered that you can pretty much cut the noise and get shit done with ChatGPT and Cloud Code and all the other tools without even relying 24/7 on an agent that is in your chats.
100%, 100%. And you know what, Quantic, I've been really excited to dive into this conversation with you. I purposely have not been reaching out in DMs so that to talk about this beforehand, so that we could actually have this conversation live. But before we do, first of all, I think it's prudent that we give Castra a quick shout out here. For anyone who's watching right now, Castra is the man behind the scenes. He helps a ton with socials and coordination of Web3 matters here. So definitely give this legend a follow. He's a stellar human being. So huge shout out, Castra. But then also Quantic. I do just want to take a quick moment and just touch on the fact that, yeah, it is kind of wild how once again, we are back just to our roots of you and I chatting on spaces, except now we have cameras. Back in the day, I think it was what, 2021 that we had our first space together. And it's crazy how far we've evolved since then. And yeah, no, it's good. It's good to be here with you. And I'm excited to keep moving forward and I'm excited to build here. So with saying all that here, I do just want to thank everyone who's here with us already. We have a good amount of people watching us on X. Most of the people, most of you guys are here with us on X, but we also have people with us on YouTube, Twitch, and Pump.Fun here. So to all of you guys, appreciate you guys taking the time. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. And today's title for our live stream is You Don't Need OpenClaw or Hermes for Everything. And which is kind of counterintuitive because what you see on the timeline suggests differently. This is a bit of a hot take, bit of a hot take. So why don't we just jump right into that here? So Quantic, why do you think you do not need Hermes and OpenClaw for everything?
Yeah, let me be honest with you, and we can actually take the situation that happened with the part of COVID to analyze this. Like we were operating fundamentally fully based on agents that if we wanted to do something, we can ask them, right? So we had agents for content creation and project management and building apps and whatever you can think of, right? And it was a very important transformation for us in terms of like how humans and a bunch of agents will interact in our organization. I think that that was like by far the most insightful thing I have ever lived during this year. Going forward though, when it comes to like actually getting things done, right? And what do you actually need? And what we discover is that I started looking into the different, tasks. And for instance, content creation, for sure, there was a base that was provided by an agent. However, you can, do kind of the same thing if you have a ChatGPT subscription either for free and have the right prompt. So we tested this real quick internally, and it's like, okay, you can get that. Then for the images, it can be a little bit more difficult. You would still need to use other apps and set of systems and tools. That's the main thing, right? I think that there is still space for having a major app for design focus on AI, right? Right now, Anthropic, by the way, cloud they just released cloud design, which is exactly what I'm referring to. However, the API consumptions, the consumptions of tokens of AI tokens, is just crazy. To the point that I don't know if it's worth suggesting or discussing that with the rest of the people, because essentially you're telling people to spend a lot of money without an uncertainty in regards to what are you gonna get in terms of like the images and whatnot. If you're good at prompting, probably you're gonna recover your money or whatever. But if not, it's like it's more tricky.
Mm.
Now, moving forward, then I ask you, what was your main use of AI in like your daily routine? Can you share that with us, please?
100%, 100%. Yeah, my main uses for AI in my daily routine, to be honest with you, so first of all, let me just for anyone who's new to our Web3 Matters live stream, one of my main roles in Web3 Matters is I deal with marketing, I deal a lot with socials, in particular with clipping live streams, planning for live streams, and posting short form content, long form content on all of our socials. And so for me, the biggest thing that I used AI for was specifically on Riverside itself, which is our live stream hosting site that we use. And it's phenomenal at actually automatically clipping moments of our live streams for me and kind of putting the bare bone of that clip in a file for me. It rates them. It gives me a transcript for them, and then it's up to me to just kind of go through them, find the best moments that are most relevant to our theme of the week, and then polish them up manually is kind of how I go about it. So the biggest thing I use AI for sure is definitely integrated AI through Riverside, which is actually pretty fire. It's pretty spot on. But then also I use Claude for I use Claude a ton for SEO, for optimizing all of the written content that I need to, really optimize posts for growth, for reach, all of these different things, mainly on YouTube, TikTok, and X. Now, X, we kind of have the thing figured out. We kind of have the algo figured out. But for YouTube, for example, the amount of SEO and the amount of actual data you have to input to every single post is huge. in particular with keywords. There's a huge area for description. Hashtags are actually still relevant on YouTube here. There's a whole other spot where you insert search terms. That's a whole other area here. So you're not just making a post like you are on X. You're actually having to figure out what are the most relevant search terms, what are the most relevant topics, what are the most relevant keywords. So Claude is actually instrumental for that here. But again, it's all just Claude. Like I set the initial context for the conversation initially, which took some time and some trial and error. But now all I have to do is kind of paste my transcript for the script or for the short that I'm posting, and it just automatically gives me everything I need. So it's just as simple as copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, and we're good to go here. So, yeah, I think that answers my question. I think those are the kind of the main things. Oh, there is one more thing. Um, for live stream prep, I like to use Claude to kind of help. I mention what it is that we're talking about, and I try to I strategize some like viral moments that we can plug into our live streams here, just to make clipping as relevant as possible for the messaging we're trying to communicate here. Um, but I'm not going to get too ahead of myself because there is one more thing here that I want to talk about. But I don't want to spill all the beans real quick. But so maybe I'll just pause there. I'm going to pass the mic back to you here. Curious on what your thoughts are on that. And
I thought this was like a very well thought answer. Like I appreciate that because now people know exactly how you that operate on the content side as a professional video editor actually like works. What are all the stuff, right? But now I would like to have the summary. Like it was a long answer,
yeah,
so that we can actually have it on one of our amazing shorts.
ah,
So the question would be, what is your current AI stack and for each one of your activities? Very short and summarize.
I love it. I love it. AI saves my ass. So essentially, I use Claude to help me with all the SEO, all the keywords, all of the search prompts that I need for YouTube, X, and TikTok. So every single post that I do on a daily basis, Claude has my back for that. And then, of course, for all of my posts on X, it optimizes the post. It helps me figure out exactly which moments I need to capture. And then finally, huge shout out to Riverside. I use Riverside to help me actually find the top clips of our previous live stream. It serves it up to me on a nice silver platter to where all I have to do is just polish it up and present it to the world here. So short and sweet, that is my AI stack. We have got Claude. Odd time I use ChatGPT still, and then of course Riverside.
Right. Understood. So in none of these, you are actually using OpenClaw or Hermes. I would say probably there is a space to use these tools and improve actually by an important margin. However, as we can see, people are finding their way by connecting with simple apps that they are already familiar with and
Mhm.
platforms, right? You're already familiar with Riverside, so you could probably vibe code a tool for doing the shorts, which I think I might test at some point, by the way. um, but the point is that there is a lot of hype around OpenClaw and Hermes. I think are a must-know technology, to be honest. However, I do want to be cautious and share, like in actual production mode, as Trav has shared today. You can actually be fine with ChatGPT and cloud in general, right? It's not the major unlock, but you're fine and you're moving fast, correct?
Yeah, I agree. And here's the thing here. And in my it's very contextual. Not only do I think do you not need Hermes and OpenClaw for everything, but not everyone needs it for what they are doing. Or like if I were to be scaling my work to where now I am managing socials for like 3 or 4 different companies, I could absolutely see how Hermes and OpenClaw would be helpful in that situation here. But for the time being, it's kind of one post a day on each of our socials. Um, and here's another thing that we need to take into consideration is that financials is a huge factor that a lot of people have to take into consideration. If you're not already drawing in like income revenue from whatever it is that you're building, it's going to be very, very hard for anyone to kind of bite the bullet and spend multiple hundreds of dollars a month on the kind of infrastructure that you need to actually run these 24-hour bots. Especially now, did you hear Quantic that apparently uh, Anthropic once again kind of messed with the paywall and removed, is it Claude Code from the actual $20 plan or something along those lines? Do you have any insight on that?
I'm not sure what you're referring to, Trav. I think you probably are talking about the fact that they are stopping like support for third-party tools. Is that what you
Oh,
meant?
okay.
Or another
Uh,
thing? It's just that I'm not
yeah.
keeping track of this because this week for me was like I had things that were more important. But I think that, you know, yeah, perhaps I don't want to speculate on this. You can just tell me what you're thinking.
Perfect. So you know what? I'm gonna do a little bit more research here while we talk. But basically, bottom line, the kind of the point that I'm trying to make is that that's just one of the things that's super important to take into consideration. Is while the 24-hour bot may optimize your workflow, may save you X amount of time on a daily basis, is it going to be worth spending that multiple hundreds of dollars a month on the actual AI itself um, for the amount of time that you're saving? Not for me, not right now. Not right now. But I'd like to get to that point where 200 bucks a month is a drop in the bucket. But
No, because I want to actually I'm gonna challenge that in public by saying that what we're gonna do, Trav, on our next iterations for AI, since you and I are gonna take the lead on this right now, right? We
mm,
used to have a developer, we don't have an AI focused developer, and we're gonna show that actually you can you can pretty much get around yourself with the ChatGPT and Cloud Code, and we're even going to set up all of these AI agents. However, we're going to take a completely different approach. We're going to take the local ownership approach
mhm,
and we're going to use everything that is open source and free.
I
And
love
we're
it.
going to show people how to use that. Every time I get back to this same conclusion, man. It's like, okay, now you have AI, you can build all the things. It's a pain. You shouldn't be having to do this in many occasions. But you know what? If you really want to own your shit, you have to put in some work, right?
Mm. No, I think that's awesome because apparently, this is something that I'm going to look into a little bit more as well here. But huge shout out to Charbel here. He mentioned a couple of new AI agent software, and I'm looking for the name as we speak, but all free, and it's as easy as just and not only is it all free, but it rivals OpenClaw, Hermes, etc. And you just use it locally on your computer, so it will continue to be free, which is pretty freaking amazing here. I love that
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, and this is a content idea. Let's start focusing on dropping all of the, models that you can run locally, AI agentic frameworks that are completely free and open source and are integrated with other platforms. Everything that comes like for free for people to run, for people to own, we're gonna put some more emphasis into that. That was like one of the key things that we have learned during this week, right?
100%, 100%. I love it. That's okay. I'm actively marking our live stream moments here so that we'll remember to talk about this. I did find an answer about the whole Claude Code situation here. So apparently on April 21st, Anthropic updated their pricing page and some support docs to remove Claude Code from the $20 a month pro plan, making it exclusive to the higher tier max plans, which are $100 a month here. Apparently, it sparked a lot of backlash on Reddit, X, and tech sites. Existing pro subscribers mostly kept access, but new signups were affected in some cases. So apparently, Anthropic later clarified it was a small test on approximately 2% of new pro signups. They reverted the change on the public pricing page within 24 hours. So Claude Code is once again listed as included in standard pro plans for most users. There we go.
Uh,
A little bit of drama there, it sounds like.
Yeah, so this is the kind of thing that keeps people entertaining, and it's like honestly, it's pure noise. Here's the thing: they already got you into the platform. They can do whatever they want. They will do whatever
Mhm.
they want to the best of their convenience. They are a for-profit company. They have stakeholders. they are incentivized to do what's best on that direction, and you have to be prepared, right? We have seen this story time after time with any of these type of networks, really, which are like platforms, things that everybody will need in terms of a tool, and then everybody gets hooked up. Right now, we're not even paying the real price of AI tokens. And then once you're in and you're like needing it for your business needs, for whatever it is, then they change the rules to the best of their convenience. It's just
Hmm.
business as usual, right?
Yeah, it was very
Okay.
frustrating. And one of the reasons, hold
So
on, let me just finish up this thought here. Because one of the reasons to link it back to crypto is why I'm so into decentralization. Let's carry on.
Absolutely. Like, look, all of this stuff is like eventually you need crypto, even if you don't like it, even if you hate the speculation part, even if you're against our beautiful token, whatever it is, actually, crypto and blockchain technology is just something that people will need to verify things, to have permissionless access to software and to tools that can transform their lives. So absolutely, I'm on board with you, Trav, on that. However, I do digress because it's been a little bit over 20 minutes now, and I want to get to the point. I have an app up and running right now to validate your ideas. We talk about this during the past live stream, right? About like what's next. What's next, guys, is this. We are going to build an entire app from scratch that can be monetized, and we are going to show you the exact process, the exact tooling, and how are we going to do this in terms of like, using everything that is powered by AI. Not so much. We're going to show you that journey as well. So, Trav, is that the thing that you wanted to touch upon next, or because you mentioned something about a surprise or something nice?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. It's so I guess I don't want to get people's hopes up too much because it's not like a massive thing or something. But I was just hoping to talk about how what my plan is to kind of refurbish the Web3 Matters newsletter here. But we can why don't we start off with your topic and then we can get to the Web3 Matters newsletter because it's kind of going back to the debate of do you need Hermes or do you need OpenClaw or can you do daily tasks without that. So yeah, let's I think people are excited to hear your topic here and then we can get back to the newsletter afterwards.
Absolutely. So let me share here my screen. I guess that you can see here, stop guessing, start knowing, right?
Mhm.
This is the thing that you want to do if you're gonna vibe code anything, and you want to make money out of the internet, whatever, selling apps online and SaaS and everything powered by AI. You have to stop guessing and you have to start knowing. But that is a pain. Why this is a pain? Because let's say I have an idea about, I don't know, I want to, like, we had this idea of becoming the first application and like open hub for builders on pop.fun. We never really validated that. We just went ahead and say, you know what, we can take this contrarian bet. I bet it's gonna work. I think we are more or less at the stage in which we can say, yes, this actually can work. However, though, if we had been more methodic, we would have done some really deep research, and that takes a lot of time. That can be very painful. So what we
Mm,
are doing now is creating an app that is actually doing the research for you. So what you do here is basically you paste your startup idea and you get a brutally honest score on what is the potential demand, what is really your competition, and how defensible it is. And this is a critical thing. Why? Because you have a lot of apps that you can replicate right now with Replit, with even with Cloud Code, and you can right now actually take the screenshot of this and ask Cloud Code to create an app like this, and it's going to do it, right? So what is really the defensibility of the apps that you are creating? I think this confuses a lot of people. So I think this particular feature is going to save you a lot of money and time. So it's going to be backed by live web evidence and not AI cheerleading. What that means is that we want to go back to data and stay away from yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
governed by AI that you can tell that whatever you want is going to say, amazing idea. I don't want that. I want something that actually pushes back, right?
Love it.
So what you're seeing here is just like the cursor setup with the app, because I had this on my desktop for a few days and I was like completely lost. So I actually had to open the folder and ask, what the hell is this? Where we are? And you can do this in cursor nicely here. So if you
Nice.
are new to vibe coding, Trav, and you want to
Mhm.
build apps, I do think that cursor that is actually utilizing these models from ChatGPT and Cloud Code, you can actually use it in a very comfortable way and have like the development environment and like get used to how the experience of a developer actually is.
Mhm.
Of course, there are many other tools, and you don't necessarily need to use this. However, this is the one that I recommend when you're getting started, and I use it for me for certain specific tasks as well, for help me actually get more context. Right? I don't use it much for coding, but to get context and get like live, let's say, feedback from anything that I'm building.
Okay, okay. One thing I just want to take a quick moment and really highlight here. Can you scroll back up to the top there, Victor, just so we can see kind of the ethos of this product here? I just really want to highlight how on point this is and how valuable this will be, and um how much power is going to be baked in to this site here. So for anyone who may not already know, Quantic has a PhD. So he is fully versed into doing that deep research, but and then also applying defensibility, because you actually part of the PhD process is defending your thesis to a panel of like what, three plus professors in order to actually get your PhD here. So you have spent years of your life finally curating this research process with that specific goal of, actually having it be a practical, tangible, bulletproof product at the end of the day here. And so I don't want to speak for you, but I'm going to imagine that a lot of that experience, a lot of that life wisdom has been inserted into this specific product here. So it's no we should not be fading how powerful this truly is going to be here. Is that kind of, am I speaking on point when I say that?
Yeah, I think you are, in the sense that I know my shit when it comes to like doing research, and I
Yeah.
can tell when an app is like just copy paste of something that you can quickly prompt, and it has like nothing baked in, and something that you really put some effort into, building something that actually solves your own problem,
Mhm.
and it has the research that it requires. So here we can see a sample report here. Let's say if your startup idea is AI contract tool for solo lawyers, you already have this one. It is a crowded market. You have here the list of all of these apps, and startups that are funded and targeting exactly the same segment, right? And there is
Mhm.
no valid mode, meaning like having a better UX, for instance, is not really defensible against new incumbents, right? You're
Mhm.
in a market, you're competing, you want to find something that actually makes sense. So there is demand, the demand is good. There is competition for sure, it's not crazy. But then the mode is like very hard, right?
Mhm.
um yeah, so that's the main idea. So where we are with this, we have this um you know set of features here that makes this app that I'm calling Verdict a different type of app. It is not a yes machine, it has real citations. It kills signals first, meaning fatal flaws are shown at the top of the report in the red. Like, this is so important. Like, just someone that tells you honestly, these are the red flags, right?
Mhm.
And then your defensibility, which is something that you touch upon, which is like, what is really a moat in these times? I think about this a lot, and I think that a lot of people are getting this wrong. Right now, the moat for us for Web3 Matters is that we are real community that is driven by a purpose of helping others, of learning and providing value. That's the only reason why, we have this departure, for instance, for COVID, but like next day we were like up and running again, and it's just going to continue to be that way as long as we are here, right? And then your idea, 50 seconds, the truth. And then you can click here and validate your idea.
That's a
And
banger.
I don't think, oh, okay, do you want to try? It shouldn't work though, because as far as I remember, this was like mostly the front end. So an app, it has the front end, and then it has the back end that does everything related to the databases connected with the information that you are putting in the front and whatnot. So I'm not expecting this to work, but just to give it a taste, do you want to give it a try?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, what do you want to do? You're an AI editor, right? Or a video editor with AI knowledge. Let's put it
Yes.
that way. Okay, so what would be something that you would like to, create as a
So
business in relation to that?
let's make a clipping app, an app that actually clips established content, whether like it's on YouTube, X, kind of something that clips long form content. This is
Long
really
form
interesting.
content on you,
And as you're
YouTube.
typing this, I'm just some thoughts that just popped to mind is that I think this is going to become more relevant as time goes by. Because now, like accessibility or the barrier of entry into actually creating apps is getting smaller and smaller, literally by the day, by the hour, even. So the amount of apps that
Yes,
are actually going to exist is just going to continue to just hockey stick right up into Valhalla
exactly.
here. So finding that
Exactly.
niche is the most powerful thing.
Exactly, Trav. Like you got it right. Like, oh, sorry, this is not working as expected. Like, yes, this is like the front end is the app here on Cursor. We have some work to do here, and it's gonna
Mhm.
take some time, right? But we're gonna go to market with this, Trav. This is going to be probably our first like serious full stack application. It doesn't, and that it doesn't even have a crypto component, by the way.
Yeah.
Of course, the revenue generated from this endeavor are going directly to ship. We have shared this multiple times. Everything in our ecosystem is going to be powered by our cryptocurrency called
Mhm.
SHIP. Okay, so oops, I shouldn't be sharing this, but I can share this, which is CEO Academy Execution Playbook. What is this? This is another thing that I built for today, Trav, which is our entire plan so that we can be accountable and have guidance on how do we go from what we have here on Cursor, like this nice front end and something that looks like an app that has been validated, it's not just a random app. How do we go to actually launch a real app that we're going to charge money for and that we're going to put on the open market in production, um, starting from basically the prompt that we used to have, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, what we have here is an entire playbook that actually I created again with cloud code and some advanced prompting that I perform, and it's actually telling you about the AI tools that you have to rely on each stage. Like it's just a suggestion, right? And as you can see, you have Hermes, you have OpenClaw, but there is a summary somewhere in which it's actually telling you here's the prompt. Like you don't even need to go with OpenClaw or Hermes. You
Oh,
can
wow.
just replace whatever you want and copy paste this. In some cases, of course, it's like directly for Hermes, but you can do this with Cloud Code as well. So yeah, man, like this is something that I want us to cover today, Trav, so that you and I, get to some agreement with the rest of the community on how are we going to proceed next. Because right now, here's where we are. We want to launch this app, Verdict, on the market, and we want to show you what we are doing step by step. And the first step actually is not only have the prompt for your app, but have a plan. And this is our plan. And it's not only like just a plan, it has like step by step, it has the timelines, it has the prompts, it
Wow.
has a checklist, what you must do, and what are like your landing page builders specifically for like the front end or whatever. It's like very
Mhm.
specific from creation of the app to like the distribution. Look, it's telling us here that we should pick two or three, not all of these, and it's telling us that we have Product Hunt as a platform, We have obviously LinkedIn as a social media platform. We have Hacker News. I don't know how you would do this, but you would promote it, I guess, on social media.
Mhm.
And then how to tell people on Reddit, on indie hackers, right? So that
Wow.
we have people that are on the same community as us, because eventually we're kind of part of this community, right? And again, which are the AI tools that are suggested, right? So we have here 30 days launch sprint, week one, setup and soft launch, warm outreach on week two, then week three, cold outreach and content, and then platform launch on week four. So yeah, I just wanted to discuss this with you. But first, I want to take a little bit of hair here and listen to your thoughts here.
This is amazing. This is man, you were not exaggerating when you said you take some time to process, but then you hit the ground running once that processing is complete here. You got to work and this is phenomenal here. So yeah, first of all, I cannot believe just how concise, not concise but detailed at the same time this is here. How deep the part for distribution, those different sites, I haven't even heard of, I'd say about 60% of those sites. Obviously Reddit, X, LinkedIn, but all of these other ones, that's pretty amazing that it was that this app or this landing page is it a landing page? It looks like a landing page.
You
Oh,
can see here is actually just an HTML file. Like I got into the
okay.
habit of creating beautiful HTML files just because it's like it saves money. Like this is a
Mhm.
trick, right? This is how I'm saving money instead of building an app or just a PDF that is like hard for me to read. I
Yeah.
create an HTML that it looks like an app, right? Like a
Yeah.
website. And I use this to read.
That's brilliant. It's so much easier to read than the kind of the monotone um, output that I see on OpenClaw here. Just for my brain, it's so much easier to just take this in. It's organized so much nicer here. But so yeah, besides just the look of it, besides the distribution component here, that's pretty amazing that it also gives you a path forward without using OpenClaw and Hermes. And just kind of a thought on that real quick. I don't want people to think that we're bashing OpenClaw and Hermes because we're absolutely not. And I also just want to completely just be transparent in the fact that I am not familiar with running Hermes and OpenClaw. And I think that's important to be said because um, there still is that barrier of entry to me. There still is that kind of hump that I have to get over to be able to actually integrate this into my workflow. And that's a barrier I hope and I plan on overcoming at some point here. It's just a matter of kind of I think what it's going to take is kind of getting to that point in productivity where now I have no choice. If I want to continue to progress, if I want to continue to scale, I'm gonna have to be able to incorporate some of these things here, but just not quite there yet. So, but yeah, no, this is great. I love the fact that we're sharing this openly with our community here as well. I think 4 weeks is incredible. Like, do you think that's realistic that that this can be up and running, have the soft launch week one, have and then have like the hard launch by week four?
Think it is realistic as long as we are like logged in with a team and probably full time or like 80% of the time. I think in our realistic circumstances here, it's probably going to take a little bit more, but not that much. But the thing is, like each episode, we are planning. We are at the stage of planning, right? We're gonna get to the stage in which we're gonna say, okay, we're gonna execute. This is week one. Hold us accountable and track our progress. And then that entire month, what we're gonna be doing is essentially showing what we got from the plan to actually execution, right? So this is the first time that people will actually see live how you go from something that you have the step by step, you have all the components to the actual execution, and see what is really uh, what we are getting, right? Which is like you never know, right? You never know. People are telling you AI is the future and then it's gonna completely transform our life. I think that's completely true. But then you never know exactly how you can go about using this to achieve something that you haven't achieved before and that is
Mhm.
quite ambitious, right? In this case, I think that launching a productive app that we can actually charge because it's worth charging money for. I think that that's an important thing
Mhm.
to take into consideration. It's not trivial, right? And obviously, we're
Okay.
not gonna rush that as well. So that being said, Trav, I propose the following thing. At some point we're going to give this to our holders because I think that this playbook here is like really professional and you can utilize it alongside our app once we launch. So if you're a holder, stay tuned there. We're going to find a way to get you this to you. Actually, I think we need to connect more with our holders in a different way. What I mean by this is like not only X, they're actually going to remove communities. Of course, we're
Oh, really?
always going to use that as our, yeah, as our main platform, but we're going to move a little bit more into the email list. And if we can get like the information of like know your holders, which is like if we can get a wallet, a social like X and the email, then we are like very well connected as a community of holders that can really grow this thing in a very unique way. Because let's face it, we are a small project in that sense. We have just a few holders, so we can get closer to the people that are actually believing in us and provide the value to them first. And I
Mhm.
think that at this stage we can, try to connect on multiple platforms. Any thoughts around that, Trap?
No, I think that's on point here. I think we kind of began our Web3 Matters journey as a community building project, essentially. I know we both have experience working with different projects, helping them build communities here. And with our own personalities of wanting to deliver value first here, I think that's something we've both come across as one of the most powerful ways to build community over the long term, not just a hyped up community that's going to stick around for a launch and then take profits and run here. If you actually want to build a sustainable community, you have to start by finding that core group of supporters, that core group of contributors to that community. And you need to do everything in your power to lift them up as much as you can here. And I think, moving forward with that plan in terms of our ship token, in terms of just growing Web3 Matters to begin with, I am all about that. I'm all about just handing out value, handing out tangible assets, handing out anything. We've spoken about having a staking pool. We've spoken about all these different things of ways that we can actually give valuable things and assets to our supporters here. And yeah, I am all about that. That's why I'm here. Period. And to be able to make that happen is going to be fantastic.
Absolutely. I fully agree with you, Trav. So now what I want to do in these last few minutes is I want to like read the executive summary of this playbook so that people have all the uh, context that they need and that we are going to be using internally for launching this app Verdict. Um, and then I want to move into the interesting part, which is like, yeah, we were discussing today about really what is the use of these agentic tools if I already have cloud and ChatGPT and Codex and whatever. And we really want to get to the bottom of this. Is like, how much do you need it? And for that part, I didn't do the evaluation. I didn't use my judgment. What I did is like, let's create this plan to go from the idea until you launch, and let's put the AI to the side actually in which stage I should use each one of these agentic tools, meaning mostly OpenClaw and Hermes, right? And I actually have here the results that will actually, it's going to be a curious result. Let me put it that way, because I think that a lot of people get loose about like, where do I start and how do I get started? And like, I think that, for instance, in your case, you said, I'm not a user actually of Hermes and OpenClaw, and you know what? I think that makes sense depending on what is it that you are doing, right? So this is the AI stack that you will use. And here is telling me at which stage I am
Mm.
probably going to use this. And as you can see here, I don't know what these stage are in detail, but I know that there are four of them. And I'm only being told that maybe I am going to use the Hermes agent in stage one. And then the rest, stage two, actually, you're not gonna even utilize these tools. And then in stage three and stage four, it becomes much more uh, probable. And,
Mhm.
there is a higher recommendation there to actually rely on this tool. That means that obviously we're not gonna escape from this modern tooling. We need to do it. However, there is a time for that. What do you think?
I mean, that makes so much sense, especially when it comes to things like cold outreach and trying to actually scale the product itself and scale accessibility and distribution of it. It does make sense to kind of have that agent working in the background 24 hours to do it here. But what's really cool is that that's you have some time to kind of prioritize that later on, which is cool because when you're actually starting trying to actually build the app, this essentially gives you permission to just focus on building the app. There will be time to implement and incorporate Hermes and OpenClaw later on here. Um, I think just awareness is key in all areas of life, and just having that understanding, for someone like myself, I'll be able to be rest assured and be able to focus on the task at hand a lot more intently without having to worry about this hurdle for me, which is now, um, do I have to incorporate Hermes? Do I have to incorporate OpenClaw right now? Am I going to have to do it next phase? No, I don't, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you're essentially arriving to the conclusion that maybe at the stage in which you are, you're actually fine. You're in your perfect level of, let's say, equilibrium in regards to your use of AI tools, right? Let me see here. I'm checking if we have like the fourth stage describe it. I don't think I think I have to scroll down. But okay, I think we can actually go over this in more details in the next episode. And for
Mhm.
now, we can go over like this executive summary because we're going to use it a lot, right? So this is a playbook that picks up the moment you have confirmed a real problem exists. When you have evidence from real people that a specific pain caused them time, money, or significant frustration. So notice this. The first thing to know is that this thing that we're going to be working on is only useful after you have your verdict, after
Mhm.
you stop guessing and you start knowing. You see how the pieces connect now? It's like we know we have something that is gonna take us to the point in which we can actually use this in a meaningful way, right? Um, Now, what you do next determines whether that validates insight becomes a product with paying users, which is what we want. We want to build a product with paying users, or it stays as great idea. I think that there is overwhelming evidence here that we know a lot of people, perhaps including ourselves, with great ideas that never get to the end. Am I right?
Mhm. Oh yes, very right.
Okay, so this manual here is going to give you a precise step-by-step path. You can convert your evidence into a one-page brief, translate that brief into an AI build prompt, listen to that part,
Mhm.
and then generate your MVP in a couple of days. And then the most important point, execute a 30-day launch sprint, which is, I think, is what we meant about the 4 weeks thing, right?
Okay.
So we're not there yet, right?
Mhm.
And then every stage produces one concrete artifact. Every artifact is an input to the next stage. So
Okay, can we
the
pause for a quick second here? Can you scroll back up just for a quick second here?
Yep.
If I can just quickly summarize here. So what I really like about this is, first of all, this the precursor to this is, of course, having our app. So essentially what this does, it will hold on one second here. It- yeah, basically we present our evidence from this app uh to and it'll be converted into a one-page brief, and then that will be actually translated to an AI prompt, which will be used to make our MVP. Can you let our listeners know what an MVP is? The most viable product, I believe.
Yes, is a minimal buyer product, which is
Mutable
like
viable
you
product.
have an
Okay,
idea that solves a problem and utilizes, and we're talking about SaaS, right, in this context. So it is a
gotcha, gotcha.
software-based solution that you're going to put on the market, and you're going to let people test. Sometimes you're charging, sometimes you're not charging. In the vast majority of cases, you want to do something that the
Gotcha,
MVP is
gotcha.
good enough to charge. But yeah.
So I think for a lot of people, this is a missing piece. A lot of people have really good ideas now, and they even get to the point where they've built the app that expresses that really good idea. This kind of sticking point of getting from A to B, from having that product to then getting it out to the world. Like this is how you kind of get that running here. And I think the fact that we're going to take this, which essentially does it for you, and give it to our core community, I'm really starting to realize how exciting that is.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of cool, right? And the core promise here, um, we saw, for instance, that at some point there was like a sort of disconnect between the people that were using, for instance, OpenClaw and Hermes versus the
Mhm.
rest of the people. There is a high entry barrier, and the people that go into the agentic world, they sometimes sound like crazy, and like it becomes like very technical, very easy for someone that is outside. So I can guarantee you that following us and what we're going to be showing you each of these next couple of weeks, you don't need to be technical, right? You just need to be precise. That's an
Mhm.
important component here. You need to remain focused, and you need to know what you're doing. And we are here to share that with the help of this playbook. Now, you will have modern AI tools, again, OpenClaw for workflow automation, Hermes for self improvement, agent tasks, and then even Cloud Code and Lovable for building, which is something that we're going to be showing live as well. This can actually replace an engineering team for an early MVP, your minimal viable product. And your job is going to give them clear instructions. And this playbook teaches you how.
Wow.
So
Okay.
this is like we can call this like the operating system of our startup, kind of like.
Okay. Yeah. It solves that point of, you just said you don't have to be technical, but you have to be precise. For anyone who may not understand how to be precise, this is going to take care of that for you. Am I interpreting that right?
No, this is correct. This is like the missing piece that you need. Once you have discovered that there is a pain that you can solve, and you can describe that, right?
Mhm.
Um, so the first step is actually validate your pain and create a product brief. You know what a product brief is?
Guessing it's like a summary of what the product is, what it does, and the effects that it has.
Right, kind of, but like with a lot of more details, and sometimes with like
Mhm.
um well, it actually depends, to be honest, but you want to do that in a way that you can go with a product brief, talk to an engineering team, and communicate a problem, a solution, and they can
Mhm.
get to build essentially. And they have to
Is
do
it
like the technical specification,
mm,
but at least you are communicating exactly what are the features and all of that.
is it kind of like a white paper or not as detailed?
Not really, because a white paper, you will utilize that when you want to communicate an idea that solves a problem, but it like
Mm.
in more like the scientific way of doing it, and the philosophy behind. This is something much more practical.
Mm.
Like it's much more focused on business, product, solving a problem,
Kind of like a
features,
pitch deck
and the
then, I
flow.
guess, maybe.
Kind of like, yeah, more focused towards that, something that can
Mhm.
be used on a pitch deck, or has information from a pitch deck. Um, yeah, and so here you have like this must do task, collect evidence, extract pain patterns, write your ICP, or what was the we need to search for this acronym here. I don't remember exactly what is like the translation of this right now. But anyway, then you have to write your problem statement, define success metrics, name your number one risk assumption. So for all of that, you actually have already uh, features that we are going to be building with, verdict, right? So that you, again, stop guessing and start knowing. Um, so yeah, I think that for today on my end, I just want to pause there, because it's been a lot to process, and we have to deliver some of these things, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Also, ICP, there's a couple different definitions here, but my guess is it's going to be ideal customer profile in a sales and marketing
Yes.
term. There's also internet computer protocol, other blockchain and technology. But my guess is it's more so, who like getting yeah, a profile of our actual ideal customer, our target audience, essentially. That makes sense.
Yes, that's correct.
Perfect. Well, hey, real quick then, let me just touch. Maybe we can end off by quickly talking about this whole newsletter idea, and we can finish off our conversation with Hermes and OpenClaw versus not. What do you think?
Let's do that. So actually, the newsletter is going to be key for us, and I want to
Mhm.
provide the context for people. We need distribution. We need to go over X and YouTube. They are performing well, but we are seeing our newsletter growing without us doing anything, meaning that people are,
Yeah,
checking X, checking YouTube, checking TikTok, and they are joining our newsletter, but we are not even sending any newsletter.
which is incredible. So we want to actually deliver some value back to you guys. So maybe first I'll start off by covering what like the format of our newsletter, and I'm curious to kind of get your thoughts, and then I'm curious to get our audience's thoughts as well. If this is something you think you're going to enjoy, you're actually going to want to consume, or if there's something else that we hadn't thought of that you guys might want to consume here as well. So essentially, there are three content pillars of the newsletter. One of them is a live stream recap, making sure to include, the most practical, tangible pieces of information that you can take away and do something with. So that's really, really important. We want to actually find like the key moments of value and include that in our newsletter here. We want to have some quick AI news updates, probably crypto as well for like the really important updates, like news updates that are happening in terms of crypto and its implications to you. But definitely want to include that, not including any noise. We want to actually filter it through Web3 and agentic lens. So we want to make sure we put a lot of thought into actually, the type of news stories that we want to actually filter through, and we actually want to deliver to you guys things that are actually going to matter, not just throwing out headlines for the sake of throwing out headlines. And then, of course, the last thing is cool new AI tools and features, which is what I'm really excited about. Because I don't know about you there, Quantic, but I feel like every single day there is a new AI tool coming out. And almost every day there's one that I'm like, oh, that seems kind of awesome. So essentially, it's going to be a hands on spotlight on one or two or maybe three tools. Uh, and something along the lines of, making sure that it's actually something that's cool, that would be worthwhile for you to know, or something that might enhance your daily workflow, or something cool that, may just be a lot of fun to try. So those are kind of like the three pillars of what we actually want to have in the newsletter every week. We don't want to put too much information, because I remember our original newsletters was just jam packed full of stuff, and it took hours to write here. We want this one to be concise, actionable, and valuable. So, before I move on to kind of my plans to automate this, what do you think of that so far, Quantic?
I think it might be good. I'm concerned about the execution so that we can deliver and we don't take that much time.
Mhm.
So what I would do is like, let's assume that it has like how many main pieces did you mention? Because I see two things that someone would read, including myself. I want to create content that I like to consume. Is one, if you have this section with the important things that are happening uh, within that week, within that past week on the AI and crypto industry, those two help. So let's say three bullets points per each, and this is an automatic search that we get an AI to do for us, and then we just filter that and put the links, right?
Mhm.
So actually, this is a
Yes.
service to other news providers, by the way, just a business idea. So that's one part. The other would be the main takeaway from the topics that we cover on each live stream. Each live stream is crucial, right? If you come
Mhm.
here, you learn everything for improving in these areas of AI tools and crypto and how to build apps and the world online, right? Living the life online. And so we're going to give you the main takeaways, let's say the main lessons, the things that we're learning, and that's pretty much it. So is that a good summary, or we need to cover more?
I think that's a pretty good summary. Yeah. Besides, I think you mentioned the cool new AI tools and features. That one could be, one or 2 points here as well. But yeah, I think that's a great place to start, anyways, and kind of we'll get some feedback, see how it lands, and then see how much time it essentially takes here. But and then kind of adjust and adapt from that point here. But in terms of workflow, it's actually going to be pretty straightforward here. So every time on Riverside, huge shout out to Riverside, we have our live stream, it automatically generates a transcript. So all I'd have to do is basically paste the transcript into Claude to extract key topics, notable moments, and all of that stuff. And it's essentially the same workflow that I use already for TikTok and YouTube. But I don't. It's just automatically just literally a button that says download transcript and then paste it into Claude. If I already kind of provide that context ahead of time. So that's going to be super easy. For the news curation, um, basically it says to use an AI tool like Claude, Perplexity, etc., to pull and summarize the week's top AI stories filtered by relevance to our audience. So it's already starting to give me some ideas on how to curate what it's going to search for. And then it's a very similar process with the tool spotlights as well. It's something to kind of scan the internet, figure out what's going on. I think the once I think the most difficult part is going to be to really sit down and make sure that those context prompts are on point. But as soon as that happens, it's literally going to be as easy as plant in the transcript and then tell it to write my newsletter and take it from there. There is also an API into that we have access to on Beehive as well. So I am currently researching how we can automate the Claude to actually write the newsletter and then it does seem like it can be published autonomously through Claude directly onto Beehive as well. So I'm currently looking into that, but I think that if that can be accomplished, I think that's going to be that it will be viable because for me the one thing that took the most time besides the actual research, which now I don't have to do, is the formatting on Beehive, kind of nailing down the fonts, the sizing, the images, all that stuff does take time. So if we can figure out how to incorporate the Beehive API through Claude Code, I think that's going to be it'll be foolproof. What do you think?
I think we can use that and show the results next week. So the challenge for you would be, let's actually do it. So from today to the next week, there will be one newsletter that people that are subscribed to our channel will receive, and it's going to be made by this system that you just described. And we're going to share next week what are these prompts, because this is the only way in which people can see, this is the prompt, this is the result, and this is where Trav, could have done better or did actually something great. Um, yeah.
That sounds great. So check your emails, check your inbox. Also, if you guys do want to subscribe to our email, I believe no matter which platform you're watching us now, link is in our bio. It is the Beehive. It's called Growth Bites. So we might change the name. We might keep it. I'm not quite sure. We can talk about that. Maybe we can do some research as well here. But for the time being, it is called Growth Bites. Check it out. We're never going to spam your inbox. It'll be once a week at the most. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun here. So yes, just past the hour now, Quantix. So we should probably wrap up here. Any final thoughts that you want to share before we end off our live stream today?
Yeah, for sure. So today I just want to comment again on the use of these agentic tools. So surprise, surprise, we have been able to survive without utilizing them and keep our productivity. And I don't want you to take this as thought towards these agentic tools, but as I showed you before, there seems to be a clear stage in which this sort of more advanced, perhaps, automation flows are actually worth doing with these agentic tools, OpenClaw and Hermes. However, for other tasks, you're gonna be just fine utilizing ChatGPT, Codex, Cloud Code, and all those services. So take that away, because that way you won't be fooled by all the hype that there is around all of this.
I love it. I love it. And just to kind of summarize our topic today for myself as well, in terms of the newsletter, for example, for where we are at right now, it seems like I can make the workflow for actually automating a newsletter pretty seamless. It does, I will admit, if I can make an AI agent that works 24 hours that will automatically take the transcript and do all that itself, and then so I don't have to do anything at all, that would be pretty cool, but I don't have that capacity right now, nor do I have the need to do that right now. So I can still use the current systems that I have right now to make this process essentially take 15 minutes every weekend to be able to do this. And I think that's pretty phenomenal compared to back when we first started publishing newsletters. We had to do everything by hand. We wrote everything straight from our brain here, and it was a multi-hour project. So this is going to be a massive upgrade for us.
Massive, man. And with that, I think we can wrap it up today. So stay tuned also because we don't know yet when we're gonna do this giveaway of this playbook for our holders. So if you're holding the chip tokens, you will be receiving something nice from our dear prompts that we're getting from Cloud Code and all that. And you can reap the benefits. That's it on my end.
That's it. Perfect, guys. If you want to become a token holder, definitely check out the links in all of our bios here as well. It's very, very easy to find here. If you guys have any questions, any thoughts, any feedback you'd like to share with us here, reach us out either in comments on whichever platform you are watching. We are actively searching comments and responding to them, or you could send us a DM here as well. Love hearing from you guys. Love getting your feedback and doing something about that feedback as well. It's been an awesome stream there, Quantic. It's great getting back here together with you, the original Web3 Matters crew here, and to everyone who has been hanging out with us, watching us today here. We have over almost 150 viewers on X right now. And that's just actually, yeah, over 150 viewers. So to all of you guys, thank you so much for taking the time. Let us know what your thoughts are. Are you guys excited? Do you have any feedback you'd like to share with us? Let us know. And until next time, we will see you guys next Friday. And of course, on the timeline, hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and we will see you soon. Take care.